Mr. Las Vegas, and welcome to Chris Garcia, the Conservative American. And I'm doing a joint show today with Blue Laketr. And we're going to talk about Cobra today, amongst other things. So thank you so much for joining us. And Blue, what's going on with Cobra? Tell us about it.
Okay. Hey, Chris. Glad to be on the show with you. And hopefully we can address some of the concerns, especially the national concerns, and especially Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, Twitter and the rest of the social medias have been given notice that King Cobra is attacking Obamacare with kiss. Well, you might wonder, well, what is that all about? Well, the fact of the matter is that Cobra is the short name for the long program, and Cobra is an insurance program. Now, for those of you people who don't know what KISS is, it's K.I.S.S. That stands for Keep It Simple Stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said, then we can go into a better explanation of Cobra itself. Cobra was created by Ronald Reagan in 1985. It was designed as a program to let people carry on with their existing coverage when they lose a job, either voluntarily or involuntarily, meaning they got fired. And the point was that they were allowed to continue their program up to 18 months using their own doctors and their own insurance program, and Cobra was there to make sure that it happened. So they basically were an administrator. And so now, we're faced with Obamacare and what to do about it. And the one thing that everybody really has to keep in mind is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Right. So, what it means is this, that the existing Cobra plan is okay. It does a lot of good things. It's pretty expensive. And so we have to address those concerns because people are not able to join with Obamacare because of the high cost and because it doesn't address all the concerns or doesn't do it properly. Well, again, let me backtrack a second and say that with Cobra, you get to keep your own insurance program, your own doctors and everything else, okay? Yes, it's expensive, but today we are much more sophisticated than we were in 1985, and we have modern advances and actually a lot of experts who can weigh in on this particular subject saying, okay, that was good for the time that it was there in 1985. Of course, in the meantime, our population has grown to enormous numbers, probably not doubled, but certainly has increased substantially to where the cost of doing business or the cost of insurance has escalated to the point where we have to do something about it. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons, and I'm sure you can elaborate on this, Chris, is that we have subsidized many people in the Obamacare. Mm-hmm. And I don't see anything wrong with subsidies to the right people under the right conditions. However, that has caused the premiums to be so high that few people can afford it. And some of those people that are in the program being subsidized are at an advantage, because the typical person who's working and paying taxes is paying into the program.
Yes.
But most of the money is going to the subsidization program. And so I just want to add one little point, Chris, and I want you to elaborate. You're the economics expert here, not me. Okay? What I'm saying is this, as that people under any insurance program are paying a premium.
Yes.
All right? And they're paying it into a federal agency who's administering that, where they really don't have any choice in the matter. They can only listen to what people are telling them, and then they're obligated to play according to their schedule. So, is it fair for them to take our work and effort and give it to somebody else.
Absolutely not. Before I get into that answer, Lou, and I want to answer that, I first want to talk about one of our proud sponsors here for Radio Tribune is Ogden Market, right on the corner of 9th and Ogden in beautiful downtown Las Vegas, 2 blocks from the El Cortez. It is a clean supermarket. It has been down here for over 30 years serving downtown Las Vegas. That's Ogden Market on the corner of 9th and Ogden in beautiful downtown Las Vegas, 2 streets from the El Cortez. Beer, wine, spirits, and excellent slot machines, some of the loosest slot machines in downtown Las Vegas. Food, prepackaged meat, chicken, and so many other things you can get at Ogden Market, full of groceries, full of spirits, and family-owned business. El Gym in the middle of downtown Las Vegas, 2 blocks from the El Cortez. That is Ogden Market on the corner of 9th and Ogden. Yes, Lou, I want to answer that. You are absolutely right. And it makes no sense. I've always been a believer that, first of all, I believe that all of these government programs, first of all, nothing should be mandated on the American people. I think that was the biggest mistake. He used his executive order and he forced Obamacare down the American citizens, forced it through Congress, forced it through Senate. Everybody, the House of Representatives, everybody was against Obamacare. He forced it down the American citizens' throat. He uses executive pen and executive order to make us all be covered by Obamacare, to make small businesses carry Obamacare, to send you to certain doctors and certain hospitals. And it's just ridiculous. It is a person's private decision what kind of health care and what kind of health care providers that they have. It should have never been a mandate by the United States government. It should be repealed and replaced totally. I think it should be torn up. I think it should be scrapped. And I think we should replace it with something that the American people come up with, like COBRA or something else. I think that we should have some other program. And we should have our choice of what program we want to cover. We have. It shouldn't just be one program or 2 programs. We should have a choice, the American people. I think it drives down costs, not up costs. I think it drives down your premiums, not up your premiums, when you have choice, when it's open competition. And I think that's what the American people should have. I've also been an advocate of Social Security and any other government program. I think it should be privatized. I think it's our money. It should be our choices. We should be able to do what we want with our money. It shouldn't be mandated to us from the American government. So I'm totally in agreement with you as far as that's concerned. And I hope that COBRA and other programs replace Obamacare.
Well, to add to what you just said, Chris, that Nancy Pelosi said, pass it and then read it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where does she come up saying, oh, okay, you pass it, then you'll read it. Mm-hmm. And so they passed it.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, 10,000 pages or something? I don't know.
Nobody read that.
Nobody could read it or would take the time to read it. Even if they did read it, because it's so conflicting, see paragraph 3, see paragraph 3.
Right.
It boilerplated and nothing that we can do about it. And then the second thing, which I may have lost my train of thought on, was well, I did lose it, so it'll come back to me. But the point is that here we are under, as you mentioned, a forced edict that, the other thing was the penalization. In other words, if you don't buy the insurance, you're going to get penalized. What is it? I mean, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about extortion?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
It is extortion. So now, the legislative body doesn't have the same standards that we have. That is to say, if we do something wrong, we're probably going to get arrested and thrown in jail. They do something wrong and it's washed off the table. It's whitewashed and we don't hear about it. Case in point was with the recent election in Clinton, and I'm talking about Hillary Clinton, and her boyfriend, Vince Foster. All right? And wasn't it convenient that Vince Foster was committed suicide, but he was dragged up to the tree, and the gun was put in the wrong hand. So it was whitewashed again. Does that mean that the political process is so manipulated that they can hide anything, including murder?
Oh, yeah.
So, we can hopefully That's changed. That we now have Donald Trump, who has so far been working diligently to make things happen. And this, of course, when we talk about COBRA, is a program that's already in existence that was approved by the U.S. Congress, and just now, the only thing it really needs might be a modification.
Yep.
So why don't, and it's only good for 18 months, then you have to have your own insurance whether you like it or not. And so in 18 months, you're telling me that the legislative body is not able to put together a comprehensive plan that really works for all of the American people and can set an example for the world? I say yes, they can.
Absolutely.
And in the meantime, we don't want them out on the street wondering what the hell, how they're going to have their medical taken care of. We have to provide them with a plan that's at least been approved and with certain modifications can be handled in the ways that Donald Trump has spoke about. So I'm not saying that each and every one of those is viable or acceptable. I'm just saying that we have a basic plan. You got to start, with, even if you're building a building, you have to start with a foundation. You have to start with building blocks to build it up. And that gives us the opportunity. So when we say that King Cobra is attacking Obamacare with KISS, that's because KISS, again, is keep it simple, stupid. Now, what could be simpler than that?
Tell people about COBRA, because I just believe I've had so many liberals run up to me and they say, Chris, I listen to your show and if you just replace it and repeal it, what are people going to do? Well, first of all, it's illegal. And I've never seen anything in this country that's illegal. People keep pieces of it. When it's illegal, it's thrown out. I think that health care should be torn up. And unfortunately, people are going to pay for it, but you don't want to know what? You shouldn't have voted for him. They voted for him twice. He's a criminal. Barack Hussein Obama is a criminal. I think he's going to be proven that he wiretapped. He orchestrated the wiretap of Trump Towers. He orchestrated the wiretap of the conversations that General Mike Flynn had with Russian ambassadors. And I think he's going to be proved to be a criminal. And not only was he a criminal, it is illegal Obamacare. It is a forced mandate, which is illegal. It's against our Constitution. So he is a criminal. So there is no part of that should be kept. It should be torn up. It's an unconstitutional, illegal document. And if we wrote something like that, we'd be thrown in prison. So there's no part of that should be kept. Unfortunately, people are going to be hurt by it.
Not only would we be thrown in prison, we would be placed in solitary confinement, just like the Bundys.
That's right.
All right. Here, oh my goodness, I don't want to get into that today.
Get into it, Lou. Get into it.
I will in just a second, but I wanted to go over King Cobra just one more time so that people can have a clear understanding. And then we'll talk about the Cobra program if we have enough time. Yeah. But King Cobra is intended to be a modified version of the 1985 Ronald Reagan Cobra insurance program that covers pre-existing medical conditions. Unlike that program, King Cobra does not cover pre-existing conditions or catastrophic conditions for a year after becoming a member of King Cobra. It would also have lower premiums and deductibles that could be lowered incrementally for those who are in good health or do not exceed certain limits or limitations. This would do away with Obamacare, provide coverage and increase membership while a final medical act is under construction or consideration. It would save millions of dollars, time and expense, as well as bickering and upsetting political factions. So this is what we need to do. And if it isn't King Cobra, what is it? It has to be something that's already been approved. We can't get held up for 9 months with Congress because they can't decide this, they can't decide that. No, it's got to be something that happens immediately. And they should understand the ramifications of all of these stalls and the cost. How much does a senator get paid? $120,000 a year?
Yes.
How much time do they spend in the legislative body? You know, we're not talking about traveling back and forth or anything like that. We all have to travel back and forth to work. I'm talking about actual time that they spend as congressmen or senators. And then when you do that, you can find out what they get paid an hour. Well, hey, Chris, what do you think? You're an economics expert. What do you think that $120,000 comes to with the amount of time that the legislators spend?
Not much.
Not much?
I don't think so.
Well, $120,000.
I think compared to what they can get bribed with.
Oh, well, we're not talking about the perks.
Right.
I'm talking about their salary, $120,000.
Well, they don't spend many hours legislating. They really don't.
That's what I'm saying, is that they don't spend many hours. So if you look at it on a basis, and you can say, you can justify, well, they're only in session for, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. Okay, you can pile that together. It's kind of like the teachers. The teachers, actually, out of 365 days a year, are actually only in school 180 days.
Right.
All right. Well, we know the legislative body isn't in session that much time.
I'm sorry, Blue, I got ahead of you. I was thinking about all the hours they spend with lobbyists.
Oh, yes. Well, the lobbyists, of course, are
That makes sense.
whether they can. And of course, just getting elected to the position, the first thing they do when you get there is give you a $5,000 bonus.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Okay. So, these are the things that we have to consider. And what I was trying to say is, an attorney gets paid $300, $350 an hour. Now, this is a legislative body, and $120,000 a year can be broken down exactly the same way. And you might be surprised to find, and this is something I would like you to research to be able to give us the facts and information, is that number $750 an hour or $1,250 an hour? And if it's whatever the number happens to be, when we talk about wasting the efforts of 535 members of Congress, and we talk about, now we come up with some real numbers. And why should we do that when we have something that we could use in the meantime, even if it's only temporary? Satisfy the public. Make sure that these people have coverage, even if they have to pay for it. So I do want to read what I put together as far as King Cobra is concerned. I may have read this again, or read it before, but I'm going to read it again because it's very important. King Cobra is intended to be a modified version of the 1985 Ronald Reagan Cobra Insurance Program that covers pre-existing medical conditions. Mm-hmm. Unlike that program, King Cobra does not cover pre-existing conditions or catastrophic conditions for a year after they become a member. It would also have lower premiums and deductibles that could be lowered incrementally for those who are in good health or do not exceed certain limits. This would do away with Obamacare, provide coverage, and increase membership while a final medical act is under construction or consideration. It would also save millions of dollars, time, and expense, as well as bickering and upsetting political factions. So what we're saying here is that by moving forward, we can actually save millions and millions of dollars. And it's just something, and at the same time provide the things, and it's my guess, but since it's already been through the legislative branch, mm-hmm. we don't have to spend that time doing it. We just say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to modify it. We're going to modify it and put these conditions in. And then if they object to it, they can take us to court or whatever the hell they want to do. Or they can cause a civil war and an insurrection, and we'll have to declare martial law. So, we don't have a lot of choices, but what we would like is a sound and safe government program that can address all the needs of all the people under different circumstances. Now, what I didn't mention, and I did, is that pre-existing conditions under the original Cobra program would be, when you break that apart and you put those people in the pre-existing conditions over here under Cobra and under King Cobra, which is a premier insurance program, membership in that and the cost of that are greatly reduced. And to best explain that is, if you have 5,000 or 10,000 members of a particular union, profession, or whatever, and they come together, and this is something that I had proposed when I was running for state senate here in Nevada, that they come together because at the time it was the Nevada State Employees, and they said they had 10,000 members. I said, what can we do? What can we do to reduce our premiums? Because their premiums were like $600 a month. And I said, well, if you take your 10,000 members and collectively put a group together and you reduce it by 50%, $300. That's $3 million a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Over a period of 6 months, you got 18 to $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that kind of money, you can establish your own hospital, you can establish your own doctors, you can set up your own program, and it would be strictly for your members. All right. The reason I mention that is that when an organization like that gets together and they decide that these things are going to be covered,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what it has to be. But the return for them is that they have a 50% reduction in cost.
Wow.
And provide the same service.
Wow.
So now you take a look at that. 3 times 12 is $3,600 a year that you're saving. If they have $3,600 more disposable income, they can go out and buy more.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And so there is a ripple effect when you can induce savings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're trying to do here, is induce savings. And for those people who are taking care of their health, they have good physical conditions and all the other things that go with it, why wouldn't they be entitled to a rebate or a dividend at the end of the year for not for being able to have overall less expenses in the operation of their medical program?
Mm-hmm.
And that way, now they have something to divide for. Say, well, I got a headache today, I'm not going to run to the doctor because I got a headache, I'll put it off until tomorrow and see how it works out.
Mm-hmm.
But all of these things contribute to the ability of individuals to save money and to be able to increase benefits in a particular program. And so I would like you to comment on that, Chris, and to take that a little bit further because you're the economic expert, not me.
I think that's scary because it makes too much sense. So I don't know if it's ever going to get past anybody in Congress, but you said it's already been put. You said one time before through the legislative branch. How far did it go?
How far do you go? Well, I think you go. Look, if you go to a racetrack, as an example, it's probably a bad example, but it is an example. And there's people sitting up in the box area, VIPs, and they have certain privileges that the people sitting below don't have. All right. And so the same thing is true here. If you have people who have good health, they're not supposed to pay a premium for everybody else.
Absolutely.
And so what we're saying is that, is it tough? Certainly it's tough. I mean, I got a friend that's got sugar diabetes, has a pre-existing condition. Well, they can clearly establish the ones that are high premiums, high expenses. But, and so I don't know if it would affect him or not. But all I know is that there's certain considerations that we have to make, and the truth is we cannot afford to subsidize people.
Absolutely not. You're absolutely right, and that's what I'm saying. It makes so much sense. And what I didn't hear was any politicians getting any kickbacks. So that's where it's it's just savings for the people. And it made sense.
I'm sure that Reagan was very careful about the administration of the COVID program.
I just want to say hi to my good friend Dan McPeters, a veteran, a war hero. Dan, we love you. Come back and do my show soon, okay? Please.
I'd love to anytime.
It's our good friend Dan McPeters, war veteran right there. He's a wonderful guy. Yeah.
So what we're really trying to do here is we're trying to prove and make America great again.
Yes.
And the only way that we can do that is cut out the waste. We have to cut out the waste.
Yes.
And you can say, well, what are you talking about, the illegals? Because my buddy brought this up, and he said, what are you going to do with a family of 5 and they have 3 kids and one of them is sick and they got a pre-existing condition? Look, you have to cut through the fat. You have to say, certainly there's going to be considerations, especially if they're, we have orphanages, we have things like that we have to support. We do that willingly and happily. But by the same token, we can't continue to have the freeloaders. And when I say freeloaders, I'm not looking at anybody in particular. I'm saying the freeloaders. Who's that? Is that the guy that's on subsidy is collecting disability that doesn't deserve it?
You know what I always ask people, Blue? What did we do before these government health care plans? What did the people do in the country?
Oh,
How did they survived it?
They never had it before 1985, you know. So when I say that, you know, Reagan was smart enough to know that there was some needs to be met, and he did that. And but they charged them. I mean, come on, they charged them. You know, like I said, if you want to join the golf club, and it's an exclusive golf club, you may pay $5,000 just to get in. You know, and then monthly premiums, you know, $1,000, $1,500 a month just to be in that group. And the same thing, unfortunately, applies to certain medical procedures or surgeries and things like that, that the doctors who have spent their time and effort and years of study and research and so forth, they're entitled to more money than the average general physician, right?
Yes.
So you have to analyze this whole picture. But with as many people as we have in an administration, certainly they can get people to do the job correctly.
You know what's amazing, Blue, and you say this, and I hear people say this all the time on TV, and I say it. It is so sad as conservatives, as Republicans, anytime we talk about anything being done good for this country, we always have to go back to Reagan. Have you ever noticed that? Anything positive that's happened in this country over the last 40 years, we always have to go back to Reagan. I just hope Donald Trump is 20% of what Ronald Reagan was.
Oh, I think
I really do.
I think he will be. I think he'll be the greatest president we ever had.
Wow.
I truly believe that, and I was praying. As I told you this before, I was praying that it would happen. And the odds were overwhelmingly over against him. You know, he had so many obstacles to overcome. Now, of course, his tongue didn't help. I think he has a tumor on his on his tongue that doesn't allow him to say, "Oh, wait a minute, maybe I don't think twice and speak once," right? But he's handled the situation, and as I mentioned in yesterday's show, he and Putin are very, very, very sincere people in their country, and they are. They're just very serious about helping the people. And we can say, we did this, we did that. You know what? So what? I probably did some things too. I remember when I was a kid, I went joyriding. The cops didn't like that. They pinched me. But you know, we live by our mistakes. As a matter of fact, I was reading something this morning that basically says that God has intentionally put obstacles in our way so that we can learn from them. And so that's what we have to take into consideration, is that it's a learning experience for us. And I think I mentioned to you before, but I don't really want to get off the subject about us as a human race. And so I'm not going to get off on that today. I think we need to stick with COBRA, and so that I can give more of an explanation of what COBRA is really about. Because a lot of times we don't know. We say, "Oh, COBRA, well, it's too expensive." Well, wait a minute, what does it do? You know, and so I'm going to read it directly from the COBRA information. I think I have 2 copies here. Get it part. I'll give it to you in a second. It can temporarily continues your employment-sponsored health benefits, provides coverage regardless of pre-existing health conditions, and monthly payments or monthly premiums are paid in full by the employee. Now, keep in mind what I said, because a lot of people say, "Well, who's going to pay for it?" Well, right here it says monthly premiums paid in full by the employee. Okay, the employee, that means basically you, as a patient, are paying for that. Now, COBRA provides important protection to those with pre-existing health conditions, and this is probably a repeat. Heavily or healthy individuals may be able to purchase a plan on their own for a lot less money. All right, so if they can do it by themselves, then why can't we say that King Cobra can do exactly the same thing? Because they're saying that you have to pay for Cobra, but if you're a healthy individual, you can go get your own for a lot less money. So if we say, okay, we're going to copy what the industry has already said, and we're going to administer and make sure that the premiums are as low as we can possibly make them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that discrimination? Is that saying, well, you're discriminating against people with pre-existing conditions? No, I don't think so.
No.
So, again, Cobra can be expensive because employees typically do not pay any of the premium. Employees can be required to pay up to 102% of the monthly premium. You know, what they're saying is there's an additional 2% tax on there somehow or another. And again, healthy individuals may be able to purchase a plan on their own for less than $50 a month. You know, it's 10 to 1. So if we're saying 10 to 1, and we have King Cobra that does exactly the same thing and makes sure that those premiums are less, it gets down to, again, those people who are saving money should not be taxed or fined or have to carry the weight of other people. Now, weight is another issue.
That's right.
But well, I don't think we want to get into that because, you know, I'm 195 pounds and I'm in pretty good shape.
Yes, you are.
I'm in pretty good shape according to the doctor.
Yes,
I'm not sure about anything else. So there's not a frequently asked question. How do I know if I'm eligible for Cobra? Is my employer obligated to continue my benefits under Cobra? And how long do Cobra benefits last? Well, I can answer at least one of those. Cobra lasts 18 months. So if you're under the Cobra program, you need to get other insurance. Well, what does King Cobra do? It provides the insurance. No. How difficult do we have to make this? Do we need to create a new wheel and spend months or years in the creation of that? And what happens to the people in those? Are they going to be? They paid into the system, and so this friend of mine was saying, well, how many people are in the Obamacare? Well, to my regular election, and this I'm not sure, there was over 2 million people, or maybe even more, maybe even as much as 20 million people. But the majority of those people were with pre-existing conditions.
Absolutely.
So, and so, again, when people have a choice in what they have removed in what the GOP has put forth, is there will be no fines or penalties for people who don't have it. What does that tell you? It tells you that they can go out and get a plan for less.
That's right.
Right? So why don't we keep them in the fold?
Right. Exactly. Absolutely. Once again, we're taking a little break here. One of our proud sponsors, Mail by Renee, right on the corner of 10th and Charleston. And the number is
702-262-0703.
excellent. And you can also make reservations and rent U-Hauls from the corner of 10th and Charleston. That is Mail by Renee, 716 South 10th Street. Also, one of our proud sponsors is Ogden Market, right on the corner of 9th and Ogden in beautiful downtown Las Vegas. 2 blocks from the El Cortez Casino. That is Ogden Market, right on the corner of 9th and Ogden. You can get prepackaged meat, your ground beef, your chicken, whatever you would like. Pork chops at Ogden Market. They also have wonderful, wonderful aisles of beautiful canned food. You can get home products, cleaning products. They have beer, wine, spirits, and some of the loosest slots in town. Come on down. The Albany Market, right on the corner of 9th and Albany. That's 2 blocks from the El Cortez. A clean, wonderful grocery store right in beautiful downtown is the gem of downtown Las Vegas. That is Albany Market, serving your community for over 30 years. Lou, I think we need to get a politician or somebody behind Cobra. I think it's
There's no question about it. That's why it's so essential that we get this out onto Twitter, because we know the president looks at that, and if he doesn't look at it, there'll be enough other people that are close to him who can say, "Wait a minute, you've got to take a look at this."
I think, Lou, I think you should be here on the 15th. We are doing a meet the candidates here. We have 4 candidates, 2 judges, and two running for city council are going to be here on the 15th from 5 to 7. And I think you should be here and you should present it then. Maybe you should set yourself up a little display table and do.
Great.
People can talk to you about it.
Great idea.
Okay.
Now, but so many people are on Twitter and the other social medias and so forth. As we get these things out, then other people are going to pay attention. They're going to say, "Well, why not?" I mean, this is stupid. To chase the cow down the road. Why don't we get them while they're still in the yard?
That's right. Actually, we're going to wrap it up in about 3 minutes, but yeah.
All right, well then, are we going to wrap it up, or are you just taking a break?
We're going to wrap it up.
All right, well, anyway, let me go over this with you, because there are certain things here that are unknown. Cobra is not a health insurance plan. It's a law. The Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act, it protects you and your family if you lose your employer-sponsored health benefits. If you qualify for Cobra coverage, then you have the option of continue your employer-sponsored health plan for a limited period of time. Cobra requires that 3 requirements be met before you can qualify for Cobra coverage. 1, that your employer is obligated to provide Cobra coverage. 2, that you are a qualified beneficiary. And 3, that a qualifying event has occurred. So those are the things that are important about it. And again, when we hear about these things, we don't really, we're not taking enough time to find out what it's about. And once you understand maybe what it's about, and you say, "Oh, well, that's not too bad after all." And that's exactly what we're saying, is that we have to come up with finite answers. And for Nancy Pelosi to say, "Here's 10,000 pages of Obamacare, don't read it. We'll pass it and then we'll read it." And of course, we've seen what kind of a disaster that is.
I still don't think they were.
And how much money it's cost the American public, and how we have to stop this waste of taxpayers' money.
Lou, are you saying the premium's going up 150% or something wrong with that?
Yeah, well, anyway, that's it. So, I mean, as far as this is concerned, as you can see, I have page after page of information telling about the various things that it does cover.
It gets right to the point, too, and it doesn't have to be 10,000 pages, does it?
It doesn't have to be 10,000 pages. For what? For what? You can give this to most of the literate elected officials, and some of the ones that are not literate, and they could probably figure it out if they took enough time.
I don't think they would read that either. They're not there that much, like you said, for the $120,000. They're not there that much. They're on the golf course. That's where they spend most of their time, Blue. On the golf course with the lobbyists. And that's one thing that Trump did pass, right? You cannot be a member of this cabinet. You cannot lobby for how many years, I think it is? 5 years.
Yeah.
That is an absolute, people don't understand. I lived in Washington, D.C., how many lobbyists there are, Blue, that affect the laws in this country for these giant pharmaceutical companies. It's just unbelievable, man.
Well, they're ripping a new crack somewhere, but It's got to stop. We need to get rid of the corruption. We need to have politicians who are there to do the will of the people, and that's it.
That's it. Blue, if you wanted to continue with your show, that's fine. I've got to wrap it up and get back to business. But if you want to continue to talk about Cobra, my wife will introduce you on. If you
Start
like
a
to.
new show.
Absolutely.
Can
If you want to do a little bit more.
I can go on. I can probably go on that. I'm wondering